So like Mike said, today's demo day is going to be mainly focused on point of sale. It's something we've been working a lot on the last couple of weeks, or even longer, honestly. But so for point of sale, the first item you do is you pick a customer, and we have the ability to search either by name or by ID. So we're going to start off with picking Cambridge Power Processing. And so the next screen you see is the parts picker. The first thing that loads up is the parts by code, and this customer has the code dealer. So these are all the parts with this code and this price for that code. So what we're able to do is update the quantity and add it. And what you're able to see is that it updates this right-hand menu, which is going to keep track of our total quantity and as well as the subtotal. So let's add another part. And you can see that it updates the total. And another thing you're able to do is search by part, and we've updated it to search by either part ID or part description. So we could type in cap, and in just one moment it'll update. And so now you're able to see all the parts with either the part number with a cap or with the part description with cap. So you can see this adjustable cap forward logo that we could add. Could add two of these, and then we could scroll down, and then we could find let's see, cap for model wheel, which has the cap -11, and we could add one.
I'm gonna have you pause there for a minute, and we'll do some catching up on some stuff that a few of you are probably noticing you don't see yet. I just want to call out because we won't be showing it here. You have the category button filters up top, plus the general search and the keyword search available, but these products all have attributes to them, and those attributes pull through as additional filters. Think like Amazon or other e-commerce sites that you're on, when you're able to filter like t-shirt size or ebook versus hardcover or whatever, right? So that information that's still getting plugged in to show up, those filters will show above the table of parts. There's the main section there. We've got some screenshots floating around from a couple of different options that were presented there in terms of how to do it. But basically each attribute type, like size and color or what have you, will show up as a different drop down. And then the different options for that type will show up inside that drop down. And then on a smaller scale screen, that collapses down to a single drop down that nests each of those attribute types and their respective options as like a nested tree. There's kind of two display angles on that depending on screen size. So there's that. There's some text here that still is being cleaned up, like that remaining balance that's not intended to show until you're in the process of taking one or more payments against the order. The other thing that the team is polishing up is the product information card. So you can't do it right now, but you will be able to click on the line, the product or the part in the line, and see the image for it or a series of images, all the metadata to it, basically whatever the manufacturer's information is. So all that stuff coming out of the system shows up in that card. But can't quite show that to you yet.
So I was just about to wrap up the part selection, but one thing I wanted to show is that you're able to also remove parts from the order. But from there, we could continue to order, or to create order, sorry. And so it prompts you for the shipping address. So right now this customer has the Zoom Assist address, and then it's selected and it'll calculate sales tax, but these parts currently don't have a sales tax associated with them. And then from there, all we have to do is confirm order, and it will have successfully created this order. So I could show you that it updated the ERP. So we can move into the desktop client and pull this up here. Oh yeah, we could also show it through the web, and I'll do that in one moment as well.
Can you go into the customers module for me? Pull up a customer over there. Yeah. While he's doing that, so there's point of sale, the module, he breezed over it. You'll see the other mode here in a second when Shoshana shows off the other side, but the point of sale module is able to operate in two modes. One is the mode where you're not acting as a register, and in which case you select your customer and everything you do is pinned to the customer from there. And that includes selecting the shipping address, right? You might not have the customer sitting in front of you, or you might not be completing the order in that moment in time. And that's a butler use case on the Rover side. And we've seen that in a couple other areas too, I believe. So that's part of why that's in there. And so if you were wondering, why am I selecting the shipping address here? I'm doing point of sale checkout for a user. It's because we really have this two modes of operation for point of sale, where one is where you're just creating the order. The other is where you're actually completing the transaction at that point. So yeah, so here you go. Customer module side, pop in, look at the sales orders for the customer. You see it there, kind of in and out. Christian, was there anything you were going to show for this piece of it before we flip to Shoshana?
Nope, I think that pretty much wraps up my side.
Thank you. All right, Shoshana.
Let me share my screen. Okay, so this is but here we have an actual register display. So here are all the available registers for the store that's associated with this user. And then you can filter these down to whatever you. And then here we go. We can search for our customer.
So in your mode, this is the more classical point of sale, retail, register focused experience. And to cut back to it real quick, you are effectively logged in as this register. So
yes,
go ahead.
And then we can go ahead and we can look at our open orders. I don't know if there are. So we can finalize these orders, which would then go ahead and turn it into an invoice. We have our outstanding invoices, which we can go ahead and pay for, which I'll show to you. Oops. I will show that to you now. I don't know why the text is wrong, but we will fix that.
This is like test data coming, so right, that's a point of consideration for people, right?
And then we can go ahead and we can add different quantities. So something that we added is that it defaults to the remaining balance, but you can go ahead and change that.
This is you'll hear the TCS team call this split tender a lot, where you've got a transaction that's being paid through multiple payment methods. So, customers like, I got some cash and give you a check for the rest or whatever.
Yep. And then again, I don't know, there was a bunch of things merged into to test yesterday, so this is a little bit of a volatile situation, but so what would happen here is you would submit the payment and you would go ahead to the confirmation screen, which right now, again, is not working. And you would be able to print your receipt, email your receipt, or choose the option of no receipt. So apologize for the bit of a messy situation over here, but that is